What's up, everybody? This is Dominic D'Angelo of adfreeshows.com, SEScoops.com, and OneTrueSportTV.com. It's a Monday. It's a action-packed Monday. Moving forward, Crown Jewel is coming up this weekend. We had a pretty big weekend in regards to wrestling all around when it comes to TNA Bound for Glory. But I'm here with Robert Karpelis, WWE Creative_ish, and we're going to talk a little bit of the happenings, all the happenings going down. Robert, how are you this fine Monday?
Dom, that better not be a Yankees hat.
It's a Pirates hat. Listen, though. God. Listen, I did not wear a lick of Jets memorabilia at all this past week. Look what happened. They lost. Because
the Jets suck. Who cares about the Jets? Jets are terrible. Miami Dolphins blew it. Fantastic sports weekend. Watch the Yankees lose 2 nights in a row, then watch the Dolphins blow it at the end. This is why we stick with the one true sport that exists out there, which is professional wrestling. We'll say hi to some of the folks who are joining us. I don't know if he wants that as just one long E or 3 E's or triple E or who knows what. But he wrote the Hardys, new TNA tag champs, Motor City Machine Guns, new tag champs. The Don retains the NA title. What a great weekend of wrestling, and another to come with Crown Jewel. This is our hype man. I love it.
Yes.
Willie Thornbrew, congratulations to that up-and-coming NXT superstar, Bubba Ray Dudley. I think he has a hell of a future. Wrestling Old Head, R&I Tribe, happy Monday. The one and only thing to take away from this past weekend is brothers don't shake hands. Brothers gotta hug. And then 6ix9ine, who is a twisted, disturbed individual, said, happy Monday. Was anybody else hoping that Randy was going to hit an RKO on Triple H? That man has a heart condition. He has children. No. How dare you?
They're friends. I would never RKO Robert.
Keep interrupting me. I'm going to RK the hell out of you.
Sorry.
Stepped all over the joke that I was going for there. It was going to end with something Saudi blood money, and you trampled all over it. So
see, that's
thanks,
even better.
Great to have you here.
Listen, you're a better comedian than Tony Hinchcliffe, huh?
Oh, that guy sucks. But you know who doesn't suck?
Huh?
And that's Randy Orton.
No. What'd you think of that, Robert? Pretty cool, kind of unexpected moment at Triple H coming out there and confronting him, saying that he is not protecting Kevin Owens, he's protecting Randy because of his back surgery, because of all that stuff. And but hey, he booked it anyways. Randy convinced him. It's happening at a Crown Jewel. Did you like that segment, Robert?
You know what I really did? I like the fact that they've been doing things a little differently with this entire Kevin Owens Cody storyline. It's been an odd, slow build in a really unique manner that they didn't show the attack on TV. It was something that existed on social media and was kept kind of cloak and dagger, that they were cutting off Kevin Owens' microphone, that they were making him cut promos on his cell phone in his car. Then this Randy Orton piece, the idea that Nick Aldis was like, it's not that I don't want to give you this match, it's I can't give you this match. And we didn't know why. And so it felt like, is Hunter protecting Kevin? Nope. He's worried about Randy. He's worried about Randy's health to make the match going into Crown Jewel seem that much more dangerous. It's an easy little touch. They played on their own history. The idea of like, look, dude, you came to my house and threw me through my my dining room window like it was Jazz and the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. So I like that it was playing on, give this match to me because, yes, you're the Office, but you were a wrestler. What would you have done in this situation? And that kind of forced Hunter to say, all right, fine, you can have this match.
Yeah. I think Randy, like in this promo, he's really feeling. I think this is, over the course of his return, this is his best promo work I think he's ever done. I will say, like, the one that really has engaged me the most, because he's speaking with a lot of conviction and a lot of like fire, and I think he's relaxed. I think he's kind of embracing this babyface role and just having a good time with this. And you can kind of see that shining through in his interaction with Triple H and what he's been doing throughout the course of his return. So I like it a lot, Robert.
There's a comment here from the Wrestling Old Head. Do you think it was Cody that could have initiated that attack by saying something to Kevin Owens to get him to snap? This could be the genesis of the true American nightmare. I don't. I think my hope What I would love to see the payoff for this, if we're being honest here, is Kevin's frustration is people that are working with Roman, working with the bloodline, forgetting everything that's happened the last 4 years. Because Kevin Owens' character is guy who pays attention to WWE programming. It's the weirdest character of all time. As the only guy who's ever watched pro wrestling, it makes it so much fun. So the idea that he's annoyed at Cody, he's annoyed at Randy, I think there's another guy he's going to be annoyed with, which is going to potentially be the fourth man in this War Games match, which feels like it's going to be Sami Zayn. That
Right.
that
How
does kind
couldn't
of
it
feel like
not be? You almost think because it's just
it's where it feels like it's
over.
going. That being said, I don't know if you're laggy, I'm laggy, whatever it is. It's a little odd for a Monday. But I blame Dom's mustache. What I would love to see is Sammy ultimately turning on the bloodline and aligning with Kevin. And then you have this two-man heel power trip on Raw and SmackDown. These guys reunited, a new heel something for them to go with for the next coming several months of 2025. I think that could be a kind of fun little wrinkle right there, Dom.
Uh, yeah, Robert, you were kind of breaking up a little bit. I don't know if it's on my end. Guys, let me know in the chat if it's just if you're hearing everything okay, if it's just me. But bringing in Sami Zayn into the mix, I think is just really elevates the whole storyline of what's going on with the bloodline. So it's really good stuff. And I think yes, it's great storytelling. It's really speaking to WWE overall of what they're doing with a lot of this stuff going on. Um, when it comes to Cody and Gunther, they had a little face to face too, and want to get your thoughts on that too, Robert. How did you like that? Did it add kind of a little bit of oomph to this title that has no value at Crown Jewel, or what do you think of that now moving forward?
It's all kind of performative and meaningless. It's what we've seen a number of times with Cody and just about everybody, which is we're going to invoke Dusty. We're going to talk about the John Cena schedule. We're going to talk about being the workhorse. We're going to talk about, what it is to represent and be the champion. We've seen
Hmm.
it. We've heard it. It doesn't have a lot of teeth to it. Like we said last week, they taped last week's SmackDown and this week's SmackDown together. So those of you intrepid who go online and see the spoilers know how this is all going to play out. It's just to get to Crown Jewel, to get through Crown Jewel, so that we can move on to hopefully some more important, more meaningful storylines. Dom?
Yeah, I don't know if you're still talking, Robert, because it's frozen.
Oh, great. I was talking. Yeah, at no point did you. Fantastic. Love it. Love all of it. I'm going to try to relocate within the home. Give me a moment.
Okay, Robert might be back here, guys. He's gonna do some troubleshooting. Just making sure if there's any audio issues on my end or if it was just Robert. Don't know what it was, but Robert's gonna relocate, I think. So yeah, I could give a dang about this crown jewel title, and I think the majority of people feel the same way. Uh, I do like the confrontation that him and Gunther had. I think more leaning inside to the way Gunther handled himself. I think he created this cool dynamic between him and Cody Rhodes, where just the visual of them both in suits, and I'm not really too big of an advocate of Cody always wearing suits all the time, and he doesn't do it necessarily too, but I think it kind of distances himself a little bit from the fans in a certain way, but makes him feel separate out of it. Robert, you're back in business, I think.
I'm back. I've
Um,
relocated to another room. Hopefully, you can hear me now.
yes, we can
What
hear
a
you now.
deal!
Whoa, how
What
about
a
that?
thrill!
I said in the chat.
What a dynamic thrill this is here. Yeah, I agree with everything you just said. I have no idea what you said.
Okay, I was just saying I think Gunther really did a very good job in that segment, and I think it kind of created a cool dynamic between him and Cody, where it's contentious. Gunther is very good at being. Somebody said this in YouTube comments that I was reading on the WWE channel that the Gunther is very good at being polite in such a condescending way, or just really, really good stuff. And I think, yeah, I think we'll just continue to elevate him. Granted, the title thing's forgettable, Crown Jewel's kind of forgettable, but I do like what they kind of did with this segment overall, I guess. But I'm with you in the fact that they kind of always go to these like, hey, look at this. We're talking about family. We're talking about stuff. John Cena schedule, that kind of inside trader stuff. Yeah, so that kind of is a thing they kind of lean on with when it comes to this stuff. So
Look, it's a good meaningless story. I think the end of SmackDown was really the meat and potatoes of what this episode was, and as it's going to have impact on WWE programming going forward, which was the tag title match, Dom.
yes, the tag title match ended up going down. We had the Motor City Machine Guns advanced, and then hey, they took on the Bloodline. They took on Tamatonga, Tongaloa, and some chicanery ensued. Let's say the Bloodline comes out, tries to wreak havoc, and then we get Jimmy Uso showing up, and he evens the odds a little bit until Roman Reigns comes out, and then they take out Jacob Fatu, they take out Solo Sikoa, and hey, but the Tonga brothers, they grab some chairs, they're ready to take out Motor City Machine Guns, and here comes Jay Uso, your former champion. And so, yeah, Bloodline, new old Bloodline reunited, seemingly on the same page, at least for this night, leading to some more storytelling, Robert.
Great storytelling, great moment. They did this similar with the Intercontinental title on Raw, and then we saw the title change there with Braun Breaker winning. We saw the tag title change hands on SmackDown to again further this Bloodline story. So the idea is Jey Uso now no longer has his Intercontinental title. Tama Tonga, Tongaloa no longer have the SmackDown tag team titles, which clears the path for War Games, and then also frees up the tag titles and Intercontinental title to have their own storylines going forward. I love the fact that the Motor City Machine Guns come in, and I think it was Triple H that posted the tweet that basically said, "These veterans only been here 3 weeks. Now they're the tag team champions." I think that gives a shot in the arm to the tag division a little bit, which is going to be hopefully fun to see. Motor City Machine Guns look great in the match with DIY, look great in the match with the Guerrillas of Destiny, or the former Guerrillas of Destiny. So it feels like they're more important instantly, which was always a concern when they first joined. Are they going to be treated properly? Hunter has respect for those that have longevity, that have careers outside of the WWE. And then you got that moment with Jimmy and Jay together hugging to feel like, man, I'm glad I tuned into this episode of SmackDown. Something of consequence happened. And you saw Roman kind of lurking in the background. Will we find out what happens with those guys this week on SmackDown? If you read the spoilers, you kind of know what's going to happen next. But even if you didn't, you knew where this story is not done yet. We're just getting started with it. The pieces are moving in place. It's the fun of being a wrestling fan right now. Is there's momentum going into not just Crown Jewel, but Survivor Series, and then the Rumble, and then Mania.
Look, and it's kind of weird to say too that taking the titles off of the Guerrillas of Destiny and putting them on the Motor City Machine Guns, and what transpired throughout that whole match and at the end of the show, like it kind of elevated my concern of what was going on with the new bloodline. Like, hey, how do you make these guys feel more valuable? And in some weird kind of way, I almost feel that like, hey, this feels big time because Jimmy and Jay are reunited. They're back together. You got those guys on the same page, and looks like a seeding War Games match here between everybody. So it doesn't. Obviously, I still think there's maybe a little bit more work to do, but they got me back invested into like, okay, I'm intrigued to see what Solo's going to do in this match. I'm intrigued to see how this is all going to play out when it comes to the new bloodline versus the old bloodline. So, yeah, this was a very good show, and that Brooklyn crowd's into it, man. They were really into it. So
They were
that
they
always
were
makes it
white
fun
hot
too.
last week. Hopefully, they're just as white hot this Friday for SmackDown. Guess we'll have to tune in to find out.
Yes, I
But
guess
now
so.
we look that means tonight is the last live WWE program between now and Crown Jewel. So it's their last chance to really be able to tell and lock in those stories. The problem is this is kind of the reverse of what we saw last week, or a couple weeks ago, what's going to happen on Raw is going to feed into a taped episode of SmackDown. So it's going to be a little bit of extra pretend than normal to make it seem like we don't know what's going to happen here. But
Yeah,
it should be fun to see what we wind up getting with tonight's episode of Raw, because there's ramifications for Crown Jewel, but there's a whole lot of other stuff going on.
there is. I think they can delineate some of this stuff and not make you kind of suspend your disbelief when it comes to, hey, this already happened kind of deal, because we have the WWE World Tag Team Titles Contenders Tournament final on this end of the spectrum here, with the New Day versus the War Raiders versus the LWO. That's Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee. So should be a fun, really cool match. Robert, I'm sure you saw too. Oh, I think I shared it with the group. Was actually a little segment between Ron R-Truth. I almost call him Ron Killings. R-Truth seeing Xavier Woods walk by in the gym and not being too pleased with them. So this New Day storyline is one of the best Raw storylines I think going on, because I think it's been so well told throughout the course of the past couple of months. So I'm really intrigued to see what goes down tonight, maybe with that.
I think that's going to be really interesting. You're feeding into this tag title triple threat match. You've got the subtle issue going on between R-Truth and Xavier Woods. You've got the issue going on between Kofi and Woods, because Woods held Kofi back from running in last
Mm-hmm.
week to go help with what's going on with Final Testament. We've got the furtherance of the Karrion Kross manifestation control over both Miz and potentially Xavier Woods. You've also got this triple threat tag match where you're hoping that we're going to get a who's going to be taking on Judgment Day. Makes a lot of sense for it to be the LWO, since we know that Ray has issues with his son Dom and with that group. Also, you've heated up the War Raiders. They could be a fresh new team to go in there and challenge for these Raw tag titles that just have sort of been there. They really haven't done anything in the last several months. So it's an opportunity to restart, refresh the tag division over on Monday Night Raw. I don't know why I'm being so formal with it. It's like I'm doing like the promo for it there. But speaking of Dom, not you.
Oh,
No, the important Dom, the Dom with hair.
the Dirty Dom.
Gross. That's inappropriate. I knew that man when he was just a boy. He is taking on a former world champion for an opportunity to face Gunther. Who do you think that's going to be?
Oh boy, I don't know. I was trying to think about that too, and do you think it's going to be a surprise, like in regards to like somebody that's not on the roster? Or is it going to be a familiar face that's part of the WWE ecoscape that we've seen, but he's just a former world champ? What do you kind of think, Robert? They're
Uh,
out of Hershey, PA this weekend, this Monday too. By the way, I don't know if that adds anything.
no. My guess is it'll probably be Damian Priest. That seems to
Okay,
make the most sense. I don't know who you were hinting at, who you thought it was going to be,
I had no
but
idea. The Hershey Kiss.
Greg Gagne, is he available?
Hmm.
Maybe he's available. Signed up.
I would see it.
Of course, you'd see it. Was going to suggest Rob Van Dam? No,
Hey,
WWE is not just constantly bringing in former names from the past. That was not our transition to Bubba Ray.
oh, no,
I
it
was
isn't.
going, I was going to, and then I looked. There's two other things announced for Raw tonight. We got Sheamus and Ludwig Kaiser,
Yep.
which has always been a fun back and forth match with those guys. I think Ludwig Kaiser is a remarkable talent. He's getting a lot of opportunities here to show that. And Zelina Vega, Ivy Nile,
Yeah,
which is also a match that will
it
take
is.
place on this show.
It is.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. What do you think of the positioning of American Made so far? Are you okay with them still kind of being this comedy act that's credible nonetheless because of just the in ring talent all these guys and gals have? But it's also, yeah, they're still like kind of treading that comedic waters after the fact with the Wyatt Six engagement and stuff. So, what do you kind of think of American Made at this juncture?
I don't think that they've drilled down properly into what these guys truly are. When they
Hmm.
became this heel stable, it felt serious. It felt important. It felt like they were going to really become a force to be reckoned with. They got fed to the Wyatts, and then we've seen Brutus become goofy, which, if that was what you were going to do, you have Otis. Maybe I'm being too harsh on this, Tom.
No, I think it's fair. Like I I like all those guys, and I like what the kind of this identity that they're creating together, but I was expecting just more intensity when it comes to and ruthlessness kind of thing. That's what we shown from Gable. That's what broke him apart from Otis and Maxine Dupree and Tozawa. So it's just like I don't think they're really hammering that point home. It's just like a comedy act that hey, they're good, but still feel that they could kind of pull that trigger at any point in time. I think they just need to do it sooner than later. So you're not just accustomed to these. Oh yeah, they're just a goofy goofballs that are credible in the ring, but they ultimately will lose, because they're clowns.
Well,
So
they're kind of
yeah,
leaning into a feud with the LWO as well. So there's always the possibility that they're going to interfere in some way, shape, or form, which would then set up New Day becoming the number one contenders for the tag titles. And then if they were to fail against Judgment Day because of an R-Truth interference or something like that, maybe this is the catalyst for what we're going to see next for Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston.
I think that's a good point too, and I think if I'm not mistaken, they've kind of when they reintroduced the War Raiders, they're kind of more on the heelish end of the side of things. So I could
I don't
only
think they know
and
what they are.
that's a good
They're
point
they
too.
Yeah, they're just sort of, they're neither fish nor fowl at this point. So I'll be curious to see where they line up. Um, but speaking of big dudes, Bubba Ray made his,
Yes,
his appearance on the NXT show to promote what looks like a match with Ridge Holland for the NXT show from the ECW arena.
it does look that way, doesn't it? Yeah, it seems like the kind of the setup because why else would Bubba Ray of all people have interfered in a match like this? It just kind of an out of a left field kind of excursion. So but I think if you take a step back and look at it, hey, going to Philadelphia, it's actually the ECW arena. It's going to be happening in. It does make a lot of sense to kind of elevate that show, make it feel special. So I'm not necessarily against it, and it's not like he's like going right for the Trick Williams' NXT championship or even my cousin Tony D'Angelo's North American championship. So I'm okay with it, Robert. It's weird. It's a weird way to pretty much close out the show, but nonetheless, it happened.
It's a way to promote this head to head competition they have going with AEW, because it is a Wednesday night show.
Hmm.
That week, they got moved because of it's election day that Tuesday. So you want to put as many eyeballs in there as possible. And if you're going to give somebody an ECW alumni that you love, and I guess Rob Van Dam was unavailable, and Tommy Dreamer was unavailable, and Sandman was unavailable, and Spike Dudley was unavailable, and
Sabu.
Danny Doring was unavailable, and 911 was unavailable. Then yeah, you go to well, Don Marie's going to be on the show, so Don Marie's at least there. Maybe Justin Credible was unavailable, or Jason, the sexiest man alive, was unavailable, or Lance Storm was unavailable, or Super
Cole
Crazy was
Gertner.
unavailable. Nova was unavailable. We could this could wind up. Hack Myers was unavailable. Um,
Kid Cash.
Kid Cash was unavailable.
Chili Willy.
Now you're going too far. No, you took it too far. But yeah, so you'll get Bubba for reasons, because he's a popular guy within. I don't know. He's got the busted open credibility. People seem to love him with the busted open component, which is great, and that's totally fine. I think that what's going to be the most interesting is how they take advantage of that space and give it a unique feel.
It's going to be very interesting because there's several other promotions that have gone there from Major League Wrestling to
Come on,
TNA.
man.
I knew it. So,
Uncalled for. No, no, you've lost your privilege. Move on to the next topic.
well, hey, real
TNA.
quick though, inside information: somebody might be in attendance for that. We'll see though. I might be
You?
making the trip to Philly. Yes.
Oh man, I hope someone lands on you in the crowd.
I hope so too.
When last time I was there, I had to dodge your co-host Rob Van Dam from crashing down on me and Justin Roberts. He forgot to warn us.
Yeah.
Yeah, he flung Kurt Angle in our direction and then dove off the top rope to the outside. And but for the grace of God, I was not flattened by one of a kind Rob Van Dam. But we were
Hey.
ending with TNA news here, Dom.
Yes. So, Bound for Glory went down this past weekend. Main event had Nick Nemeth taking on Joe Hendry. Talk about chicanery. There was chicanery in this one. JBL comes out, wreaks havoc on everybody, and Nick Nemeth ultimately retains his TNA championship. Really almost felt like, you put the name like Joe Hendry up against Nemeth. Nemeth has been on a really good run for TNA, but felt like the time to maybe pull the trigger and give Joe Hendry this world championship. Does this speak to maybe them misusing Joe Hendry, or does this speak to maybe Joe Hendry, well, maybe leaving TNA here sooner than later?
It does feel like they want to keep Joe Hendry unencumbered in
Mm-hmm.
case he teased possibly that we're going to see him in the Royal Rumble. I think there's some opportunities with him. He's been working out quite a bit at the Performance Center. You needed a way to beat Joe Hendry in a way that didn't necessarily hurt him. So utilizing JBL, who now travels from promotion to promotion, clotheslining people.
Yep.
You use that here. You can get to I don't know if you can get to a JBL Joe Hendry match because I don't know necessarily that JBL is in ring shape to do anything other than throw a clothesline. I know that he is now an investor in AAA. So there is the possibility that Joe Hendry is going to show up in AAA and do something for an upcoming show. It creates some intrigue. It's a way to get out of this match because you do need to put Joe Hendry in a title picture. But if you're not putting the title on him because you think that he's probably going to go to greener pastures, then this was the smartest out.
Right, and you're not losing anything by not having it taking the title off of Nick Nemeth. If you keep it on him,
Nemeth, for the love
Nemeth,
of all things holy,
Joe,
Nick.
Broadway Joe.
I love
I'm a
Nick.
Joe Nemeth fan. What can I say?
Yeah, I
What can I
got
say?
it. Nick Willie Nemeth. Dominic D'Angelo, best producer in the business.
Am I?
Yes, no, it's
Oh,
what it says here in the copy.
okay.
But yes, he's the producer of Working Stiff with myself and Scott Chaplin, which is up and available now wherever you get your podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, and the like. Dom, you have other podcasts as well.
I do have other podcasts. Yes, speaking of Rob Van Dam, I do a show with him. It's called One of a Kind with RVD, and it just released this morning on rvdtv.com. You can check it out. Rob and I, we just catch up on the happenings in wrestling and what he's been doing. He talks about the aspect of working during the PG era of WWE and having to make the adjustments for that. Also talks about willing to give advice to younger talent in the ring and how people have actually not listened to him and stuff like that after the fact, and he's like, it's kind of aggravating, and people stealing his move sets and asking for it during their shows that he's actually on. So take a look at that. It's rvdtv.com, and it will drop everywhere today at 4:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on all your podcast platforms of choice. Also check out Straight Talk with Boss Magnum TA Greg Gagne. We had to record an episode last week and talked about a lot of different stuff on that one too. So go to fourhorsemannetwork.com. Check that out, or type in Four Horsemen Network on your podcast feed of choice and subscribe. You get Arn, you get Gagne, you get Magnum. Fun stuff. Robert, this has been a fun show. Fun Monday starting things off.
Fun Monday. It sounds like everybody was able to hear me. Everybody was able to hear
Yeah, you
you.
were
You and
good.
I were unable to hear each other. That was where the
Mm-hmm.
issue was coming in. Communication is key and important, but
It
one way
is.
you'll be able to hear us without issues if you tune in live every Monday through Friday at noon Eastern on a plethora of platforms, including the WWE Creative _ISH X account, the SE Scoops X account, and on YouTube on ad-free shows, Rumor and Innuendo, and Working Stiff. So on behalf of the man who curses every sports team he supports, Dominic D'Angelo, I'm Robert Karpelis. Best of luck in your future endeavors.
I want to say go Yankees, but should I say go Yankees?